Hey, this is Nicky G coming at ya. We got some Limp Bizkit after the break, but first let's talk about Amalia Benavides Aguirre. Listen, that's the last time I'm going to try to pronounce her last name, dude. There's something about a lady with glasses, though. I don't know what it is, but it makes me want to buy something. Brothers, listen, the 0.1% ladies out there in my demographic as well. It's time to explore an interesting commander with a sweet showcase frame. But first, take a minute to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want. The algorithm is a brutal mistress, fickle and cute, just like Amalia Benavides here. White and black for a legendary creature, Vampire Scout. It's a 2/2. Ward, pay 3 life. Whenever you gain life, Amalia Benavides explores. Then destroy all other creatures if its power is exactly 20. To have this creature explore, reveal the top card of your library. Put that card in your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, then put the card back or put it into your graveyard. Now, lifegain and lifegain payoffs are fun and interesting. Getting this to 20 power is basically a pipe dream, I guess, man. It's doable in like maybe 1% of games, but we all know that's a small fraction. What we can really lean into is the explore mechanic. Note that it says put back or into the graveyard. Well, guess what, dude? White and black have fantastic reanimation synergy, and this massive exploration can lead to a classic reanimator shell with a lifegain spin. Now, this sweet commander is going to come down on turn 2, and listen, man, I much prefer the showcase version. Can we just agree on that? I'm glad they aren't coins anymore, you know? Look at that. It encapsulates the mood of Ixalan. It's whimsical and really nice looking. So Amalia comes down on turn 2. You want to be gaining life on turn 2 and 3 and for the rest of the game. So you want these little life gain creatures like All Seed of Life's Bounty. 1 white mana for an enchantment creature, Nymph. It's a 1/1 with a lifelink. Has 1, sacrifice it. Target creature or enchantment you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Look at this beautiful man. He's chilling in the Field of Dreams out there with Kevin Costner, dude, and he can protect your stuff later. Now, how about the Healer's Hawk out there? Get a little evasion with your lifelink. This guy's a champ. Anyways, man, there's a billion others if you want to go that direction, like the old Nip Gwillian here, dude. Look, man, Nips are great in a commander deck or anywhere, really. Now, a personal favorite of mine and the dream of Horsegirls everywhere is the old Lone Rider. This guy flips to reveal Ludwig the Accursed on the back. It's kind of a pet card of mine in lifegain decks. Another fantastic utility creature and an underappreciated one is the Null Priest of Oblivion. 1 and a black for a creature, Vampire Cleric. It's a 2/1 with kicker, 3 and a black, has menace and lifelink. When this guy enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You know, it's a little overcosted, but it's a versatile creature that feeds into the Reanimator theme. Also, you may want to include some extort creatures. They're a reliable source of life gain with your little extra mana that you got hanging around, and you can slot in the old Tithe Drinker here, cards like this. You got a lady here, she probably has an alcohol problem, alright? I'm not throwing stones. She's enjoying a bit too much of the box wine out there, it's alright. Now, I've mostly talked about budget cards so far, but the original Ixalan Hot Lady Vampire would slot nicely into this deck. You got a Lenda the Dusk Rose out there, 2 white and a black for a legendary creature, Vampire Knight. It's a 1/1 with a lifelink. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on a Lenda. When a Lenda dies, create X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink where X is a Lenda's power. Of course, you know, you have Sarah Ascendant, Archangel of Thune. Those are both great includes. The little monk guy here, he's so obnoxious, brother. Both of these are pretty pricey. These are both $20 cards, and though you don't need them, they slot in there nicely. Now, speaking of pricey cards, Celestine has gotten up there. It's about $10 right now. This is a crazy reanimator creature in a life gain deck. Hits both of our targets right there. The Living Saint is 4 and a white for a legendary creature, Human Warrior. It's a 3/4 with flying and lifelink. She's got the healing tears, dude, just like your mother. At the beginning of your end step, return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Aw, man, look at this lady out there. She's the Judge of Valor, man. Judge Judy is 2 white, black for a legendary creature, Angel Cleric. It's a 2/4 with flying and lifelink. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, the rest in your graveyard. You're going to be feeding the graveyard, dude, you're ripping it up. She's got lifelink. The sweet angel can be had for 9 cents for this beautiful monster. Look at this metal art, dude. That's a Tinder profile I'm swiping right on every dang time, dude. I want to be one of those skulls. And fresh out of Jumpstart from last year, about $7 is Rudolph Duskbringer, dude. He's the red-nosed vampire. 5 and a black for a legendary creature, Vampire Angel, just like your mom as well, dude. It's a 4/4 with flying, death touch, and lifelink. Whenever you gain life, Rudolph Duskbringer gains indestructible until end of turn. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 and a hybrid white-black. When you do, return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Notice that every creature I mentioned so far has lifelink, man. I'm sensing a theme here. Guess what? There's a lot of good creatures with lifelink. Plus, we're feeding our graveyard, so let's get into some Reanimator targets. Oh man, look at this sad little guy up on his chair, man. I think at this point in his career, Vishhal's looking like a retired comedian, dude. Take a look at this art. This guy just got off his Vegas tour, he's tired. But in 2023, he's kind of a niche player. He was a little more impactful back in 2013. But this guy's 7 mana, legendary creature vampire, it's a 5/5 with flying and lifelink. Sacrifice a creature, put X+1/+1 counters on Vishhal, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. Remove all the +1/+1 counters. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each +1/+1 counter removed this way. This can be activated at instant speed. And you know what? If there's board wipe or something, dude, and your opponent's got some indestructible stuff or they're just targeting your stuff, you can sacrifice it and then hit them back, dude. This guy's 40 cents at present and is a diesel reanimator target, and he's got lifelink. Then you got a Chroma out there with the extreme high heel shoes. She's about 11 feet tall with those puppies on there. 5 white for a legendary creature, Angel, 6/6 with flying, first strike, vigilance, and trample. At the beginning of each combat until the end of turn, each other creature you control gets +1/+1 if it has flying, first strike, and so on for double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, protection, reach, trample, vigilance, and partner, dude. Listen, man, this is a dope card. Then listen, man, salt the deck out with some other sweet Reanimator targets like the Archon of Cruelty here. This is another pricey card. 6 black for a creature Archon. It's a 6/6 with flying. Whenever this guy enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, discards a card, and loses 3 life. Too bad for them. You draw a card and gain 1 life. I'm partial to Angel of Destiny myself. I don't know if you've ever seen this card, but it's 3 white for a creature, Angel Cleric. It's a 2/6 with flying and double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. So you're kind of double dipping on the lifelink if you hit him with a creature that has lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 more life than your starting life total, each player, Angel of Destiny, attack this turn loses the game, dude. This, along with the old Fadar Sovereign, he's another obvious include, can be alternate win conditions. And you probably want some utility creatures that just sit out there and gain life, like old Nicky G here sitting in his recliner eating chips and drinking coffee. That's gaining life if you think about it, dude. Anyways, Campbell isn't handsome, but he gets the job done. He's got a great chin, this guy. And you also have the Soul Sisters. You got Soul Warden, Soul's Attendant. Take a look at this art, dude. I'm going to have what she's having. Now we want to include a bunch of Reanimator effects, and there's a huge proliferation of reanimation effects you can slot in for later in the game. You have Reanimate here, that's the bread and butter, or you can get more fancy with Incarnation Technique, maybe get 2 things back, maybe screw over one of your opponents, have mill a couple cards, or you have Breach the Multiverse, which is still bafflingly only like 250, man. This is a fantastic commander card, I love it so much. Don't forget to maximize life gain in your mana base. You can include cards like Pristine Talisman, Radiant Fountain. Stuff like this increases consistency and gets more explore triggers. And you have sweet utility lands like Vault of the Archangel. It's pretty cheap right now as another way to make sure your team has lifelink. If you are only including creatures that have lifelink, obviously maybe you want to skip this card, you know? Maybe you're just giving them death touch. I don't know what you're doing out there, dude. But creatures you control gain death touch and lifelink until end of turn for 2 white and a tap. Very interesting commander that can be built pretty cheaply with lifelink creatures, big reanimator targets, and reanimation effects. You can probably cut a land or 2 due to the ability to explore multiple times per turn. You're going to be hitting your land drops, man, and that's better commander, dude. You can't play if you have a grip full of 7 drops and no lands. This is a pretty fun deck. Seems like a powerful effect you can tailor to your specific desires. You can go very cheap with those very cheap lifelinking creatures, just trigger life gain all the time, or you can go a little more expensive with the more expensive ones, or anywhere in between. The world is your oyster, brother. Anyways, man, be nice to each other out there, alright? Don't go on the internet spreading hate around, dude. Spread love, because that's better commander. This is Nicky G, signing off.